Welcome to the fastest daf in town. Today, Masechtas Sanhedrin daf Sadi Hey. We're going to begin on Sadi Hey about Aleph, about 6 lines from the top. What does it mean with regard to the pasuk that Yomi b'noiv lamoid? That this is basically the last day with regard to noiv, in which we did the terrible sin, or it was actually doimi, killing out the entire city of Noiv. And on this, this was the last day in which we were going to be held possibly vulnerable for that which happened. Says Rashi, because of what happened by the Kohanim of Noiv, who helped David, and the reason why Shaul had Doimi kill them, on that day, it was only that this was the last moment that the Jewish people were vulnerable. And if he was going to fight on that day, then Taki he would have been victorious. This, of course, goes all the way back to the previous Omid, which we were talking about with regard to the Aseres HaShvatim, in which Sanhedrin beat, and then he went to Yerushalayim to try to defeat the people in Yerushalayim, and Amalek destroyed him and his army, or at least his army. So if he wouldn't have waited, but he could have immediately attacked, then maybe he would have been successful. So Armele Kaladoi, the astrologers say, if you go today, you'll be victorious. If you wait, no. So now, it should have been a 10-day journey to get to Yerushalayim. He did it in one day. He had the Kfisa Saderch. Kimatu Yerushalayim, when Sanhedrin was just outside of Yerushalayim, Shadule Bistarki, he piled up a layer of, Rashi says, rugs underneath him, until he was able to add the Solok V'Yosef Ma'uli Shura Adechazi L'Kul Yerushalayim. So basically, he was almost like on a step ladder, if you will, so you'd be able to see all of Yerushalayim. Kichazia, when he saw Izutter Be'enai, it seemed very small in his eyes. He looked around, he's like, this is this is nothing for me to conquer Yerushalayim. It's a tiny little city. Amr Hello, Dahi Karta Yerushalayim. This is the big famous city of Yerushalayim. It's tiny. Dala Argishis Kol Misharisi. V'ola Kafshis Kol Medinosa. I can go and basically bring my entire army, and I'm going to destroy that whole country, this whole land. Oh, he's the era of Cholsha Mikol Karcheamme. It's small and weak compared to all the other lands to Kavasht, B'toikif Yadai. So I'm able to easily conquer, because I've conquered much bigger land than this. All of it come Umanid Bereshe. So he got up and moved his head. Moivil Maisi Biyadei, and he waved his hand out toward the mountain. And when he did that, Beis Mikdash B'Tzion Velas Rasi Yerushalayim, Amri, the soldier said, Nishti Beyada Ha'idna. So again, pretty simple conquering. Shemahu Tamahisu, you're tired. Lamachar Aisili Kol Chad V'Chad Minayachu Gulmo Herig Minei. We'll go tomorrow, right? And then we'll be able to rip out the pieces of the city walls. So, no big deal. Miyad v'hi b'laylahu v'yetzi malach Hashem v'yachamachna ashur me'u shmeinim v'chamisha elef. So, because he didn't go on that day, so therefore the malach went and attacked a significant amount of people, 185,000. Yashkimu b'boiker. Got up in the morning, B'nei Pigarim, Mason, they're all dead, they're all corpses. So, behind how many inches, people say, Bas Dina Batal Dina. If you wait a night, maybe the whole din will be scrapped. Vayishbi, who is a person. B'noiv, asher bioladi harpei umishkoil kinoi shol shmeos mishkol nechayshas. So he had a spear which weighed 300 shekel nechayshas of copper, v'choger chadasha, and he had this new armor. V'yermer lahakos is David. His goal was Yishbi, was to kill David. So my Yishbi b'noiv. What does that mean, Yishbi and noiv? Rabbi Yehuda Marav ish shaba al iski noiv. The person who came due to the matters of noiv. Says Rashi, Aidi Ariel El ba'isa hayoyim shenishtayer ma'oinish shel noiv nagad hachav Yishbi b'noiv shabal iski noiv. So he came regarding noiv. Armulei Hakadosh Baruch Hu David ad Masa. He has Ya'avoin zet tomon biyadecha. How long should this sin be hidden in your hands? Al yodcha neherga noiv yer kohanim. It was because of you that noiv was killed. So David didn't do it, but the fact that he had no help him, so indirectly they died because of him. But yodcha, because of your hands, nitrad doigad doimi. He himself Doimi got punished. Yodecha, because of you, Nahargu Shoy Shusha's Banab, Shaul and his 3 kids got killed. So David, you also deserve to be punished. You have a choice. Either all of your children will see, you'll have no descendants, or you'll be given over to your enemies. So I'm going to Motav emser biad oyev. I'd rather be given over to the hands of my enemy. Zari. I don't want my offspring to be destroyed. Says Rashi, Nitra daimi b'sefer lashon hara shesaper. He spoke lashon hara about David. Shehikna boy Shaul, and all of a sudden Shaul got jealous because of him. Of he shekibel el Achimelech as David b'noiv. Armolei Shaul, etc. Nimsa shal yodcha nehergo v'yata nichshol v'chet zen neherag Shaul v'shoshas banu milchemes plishtim. Okay, so anyway, that was the ultimatum. That was the choice, and David said, "I'd rather be brought over to my enemies." Yom Echad, one day, Nafik Liskar Bazoi. So he was going out hunting. Also, Satan. So Satan came, Ad Milei Ketavia, and it appeared like a deer. So Pasuk Bei Gira, so David shot his arrow, Volmate, but it didn't hit him. Mashche Ad De'amte L'Eretz Plishtim. So he pursued this deer until he ended up going into enemy territory, into the Philistine camp. Kedechazia Yishbi B'noiv. When he saw, so Yishbi Hanoiv, Yishbi B'noiv, this Russia took David in captivity. This was Yishbi B'noiv. Amar Hainu Hai Dekatle Legalius Achi. The reason why I'm taking you is because you, David, killed my brother Goliath. So Kafte, they tied up David, or Yishbi tied him up. Kamtevi Oisiva Vishadia Tuti Be Badyan. He threw him like by an olive press. This obviously a miracle happened. Machale Ara Metutoi, and like the earth around him kind of like opened up, which basically apparently it softened the earth, or something along those lines. And because that he wasn't damaged. There's another Gerson Rashi over here. Maybe there was like a hole around him. So Hainu Nechsiv Tarchiv Saadi Tachti, that the width of strides were under me, Voma'andu Kartsuli, and it did not slip. Hahu Yoima Apandid Mali Shabbatahav. It was like Erev Shabbos. Avishai ben Seruya. So you had Avishai, who was the son of Seruya, Havika Chayef Reshe Bedal Garvi, Demaya Chazina Kitami Dama. So he was rubbing his head, and he noticed that there was these stains of blood. Igadi Amriyasa Yaina, a dove came, Itrif Kameh, and flapped at him. Aimer Knesset Israel Yaina Amiltala. we know that that Klal Yisrael is comparable, is compared to a dove. Shnemer kanfe yoina nechba b'kesef, that the wings of a dove are covered with silver. So Shema Minah, David Malkan Yisrael, but Sarah. So Avishai ben Surya figured out the fact that he saw blood, he saw it was some type of a sign that David was in captivity. But Sarah. So Shari also Abesa, Veloy Ashche. So he basically went to David's house to see what was what, and in fact he wasn't there. Amar Tanan, it says, Ein Reich Min El Susai, you're not allowed to ride on a king's horse. Vein Yoshiv Min El Kisu, you can't sit on his throne. Vein Mishtamshin B'Sharbito, he can't use his scepter or stick. B'Shas HaSakana Mai. What if it's talking about Shas HaSakana? Because over here, it must be that something's wrong with David. So Avishai was wondering, is he able to use the king's horse to be able to get him to save his life? Also, Shobim ben Rasha, so he asked the Kasha, B'Shas HaSakana Shabradami, you're allowed to. So Rachve Lepradia, so it's interesting, it doesn't say a horse, but rather a mule. He was riding David's mule, the Kava also, and he was going, and Kafsale Ara Bahadi Deka Maski Chazal Arpa Ime Dahavis Navla. So he was traveling, and he came across Arpa, who is Yishbi's mother. And Yishbi Benoiv is the one who has David in captivity. And Avishai ben Surya was coming to rescue David, and he encountered Yishbi Benoiv's mother, Arpa, spinning. Havinavla. Ki Chazisa, when they saw each other, Pasakta Lepilcha in Shantilehi. So she basically stopped her sewing, and she threw it at him. Savra Lamictale. So he thought that she wanted to kill him. Armule Elam Isile Pelach. You mute one, I guess it is. Bring back my needle. So Paski Beresh Mucha Bekatla. So they put it to the head and killed her. Says Rashi, Hishlich Avishai Hapelech L'Roisha Umesa. So he was able to take this needle or some type of thing and have her killed. Kadchazia Yishbi Benoiv, when Yishbi Benoiv saw that his mother was killed, Amar Hashda Habibi Trin, there's two Vikatlin, they're going to kill me. Because now it's 2 against 1. David and this guy Avishai are going to come and kill me, Yishbi Benoiv. So Pascal David La'ale, so he threw him up, David, into the air. V'datzle l'roimche, and he put his spear up so that he would end up landing on the spear. Amar nipol v'nikdol, let him fall on the spear and he'll get killed. Amar Avishai, shame. Avishai ben Surya said the name of Hashem, and Ukmul David ben Shemai l'ara, and all of a sudden David was suspended between heaven and earth. I've name Ihu. Why couldn't David just have said it himself? So you can't do it, because even if you're locked in jail, even if you know how to unlock, but you can't unlock if you're the one on the inside. So Armalei, my boy is Hacha. So he said, what are you doing here? Armalei Hachi Yamalei Kuchabrichu. This is what Hashem told me. V'Hacha Ahadri Blay, and this is how I responded. Armalei Apecha Susecha. So you said, says Rashi, Hafach Tfil Asecha. You should turn your tefil around. So he says that you should change it. You shouldn't be in this situation, but rather it'll be so David, your descendants won't be. Barbarech Kira Lisboin Viat Loy Titstaer. So your son's son will be like wax, will be sold for wax, and you won't be in Tsar, says Rashi. Doesn't say anything. Mashalhu she'oimrim b'nei adam. So he's basically saying, this is what you should do. That Avishai helped him, or maybe that he helped him in his prayer to have him flip it around. Avishai Shem. Again, Avishai ben Surya said a name. V'achte and David came down from the sky. Havika Radif Basraihu, they were trying to pursue after them. Kimata Kubi, and then when they reached, says Rashi, L'oiso Kfar, to a particular village, Shishmo Kubi, that was just happens to be its name, between Eretz Yisrael and the land of Pelishtim, Armakum Be Kimata Be Trey. So we've reached two people. Amri betray Gurian Katluhal Aryeh. That two small lions are going to kill a big lion. Go and find Arpa, your mother is in the grave. So we have no help to you. Once he heard that his mother was killed, he got weak. And they were able to turn around and kill Yishbi B'nai. Behind it, Oz Nishbu Anshi David Lo, Laymor Lo Tetzi Oid Atenel Melchama, no longer go to war, V'lo Tichbe Es Ner Yisrael. And you'll never be able to distinguish or extinguish the candle of Israel. So on this, the Ben Yoyada says the fear of this huge army is what caused them to be basically killed due to this one day, this 1 day of fear. Basically, the notion is that because there was such a big army, he had nothing to fear, and because he had nothing to fear, that's why he was killed. So it's an interesting turn of events. The Ben Yoyada further says his animal would have been more apt to find David's whereabouts, like the sense of smell of a police dog. Very interesting. So why he couldn't find another animal? So he thought that maybe that was the best approach. Okay. So again, this was the story of Yishbi, who took David captive, and then he was saved. Okay. So let's slow down for a second. Let's look at question 9. Eza davar halacha huskuk lishoyel Avishai lifnei shiyatza lahatzel as David. So what was the question that he asked again? If he's allowed to ride on the horse of a king at the time of the king's danger. Question 9b, V'yazul Avishai ben Surya, ma ha'isa az rasai shel Avishai ben Surya. How did he help him? So he helped him with the tefillah that sheyichla zaro, that instead something will happen to his children, and that not that he should be given over to enemies. Hepach tefillas David b'rishayna. He flipped around what David's original prayer was. Okay, let's look at question TA 14. Mi hoya achav shel yishbi b'noiv, umi hoysa imoy. Okay, so you just have to know the story. So who was his brother? So TA 14. So the reason why Yishbi b'noiv was so upset at David is because he said, Yishbi b'noiv Amar Hainu Haide Katli Ligolius Achi, that you killed my brother. And when Avishai ben Surya went, he encountered this man's mother, whose name Chazil Arpa, Ime Dehavi Navla, that she was spinning. So those are the two names you need to know, Goliath and Arpa. Okay, question TB 15. Mihu hayachid shenis malet l'chaim b'noiv ira kohanim. Mihai hayachid shenisher sarapol l'zer David. Okay, didn't do that yet. All right, weiter. Tanabon. Shloisha kasel hem haaretz. There's 3 people who had kfita tzaderech. One was Eliezer Ebed Avraham. The second one was Yaakov Avinu, and Avishai ben Surya to save David Melch. So Avishai ben Surya had Amran. We already said that. Eliezer Abed Abraham Diksiv, V'avo hayoyim el ha'oyin, that he came today to the well to be able to encounter a mate for Yitzchak. Remember that dehahu yoyim nafik, that on that same day, it was talking the exact same day that he went. So he was able to get from one point to the next very quickly. Yaakov Avinu, as we continued at Sadi Hamid Beis, Yaakov Avinu famously had Kvitza Saderech. He went from Beersheba to Charan. He encountered this place where he had his famous dream of the ladder, the angels going up and down. Kivo Hashemesh, the sun set. Kimat Charan. So when he got to Charan, Armor Efsher Avarti al Makim, should have passed this place. Hispalu by Avoisai. That's where our fathers, Avraham Yitzchak Dam, Yanilo is Spalalti boy. I should do so. Boy, he wanted to return. Kivan, to hear her Bedaite, as soon as he had this thought process of going back, Lamahader, to return, Katzle Aura, they had Kvisas Aderach. Miad V'yifka B'makoim, so he got there quickly. Davar Acher, in Pigya El Tfila, as we know in Tfilas HaShachar, and famous Sugi and Brachos, Shenemar V'yato, and you, Al Tispal B'adam, Azad, don't daven for this nation, V'al Tisa B'adam, Rina, they shouldn't be sung, Tfila, V'al Tifka be. You did not encounter me, and Tifka is Tefillah. Okay, fine. Vayolan Sham Kivo Hashemesh. Basadet Soli Boilam Meheder. After he finished davening, he wanted to go back. So you have the Sadik that's coming to like this location. Yifter B'Alina. Is it proper he should not go to sleep there? Yad Bo Hashemesh. The sun set quickly. Hashemesh Bilvad Zarcha, only shines for him. And Golam Kulu. It shines for everyone. The sun which is setting, sun is coming in his sake. Zarcha Bavurai, it's shining for him. Umenolan de Kolazari, the David. How do we attack that Lamaskana, David's children were destroyed, or he didn't have many children. The Aslia im Achziahu. This is a person. Who also Kimes Bena. He saw that the children had died. But Takum got up. But Tabaynes Kol Zera Hamamalacha, and it was destroyed all of the Zera from his kingship. I Moishtarle Yoish. What do you mean? Well, there is someone that managed to survive out of all of Beis David, right? This is actually a very hard question. Question TB15. Mihu Yochid Shinishar Sharadu Polit Lazera David. Who was the one guy that was able to have survived? His name is Yoish. Yud Vav Aleph Shin. And I wrote it wrong, but it's supposed to be Yud Vav Aleph Shin. Okay. Great. I can't believe I got that right. That's a hard question. TB15. So, Hasam Nami Ishtar of Yasar. So, also of Yasar remained. Right? Hasam Nami Ishtar of Yasar. Dechsev Yamalit Ben Echad. There was one person who was spared. Lachimelech Ben Achitoiv. Ushmo of Yasar. His name was Ev Yasar. So, this question. Mihu hayachid shenimot l'chaim and noivir hakohanim. So if Yasar Taka was saved from, as it says over here, Hasam Nami Ishtar of Yasar Mikahani Noiv. If Yasar survived, so too, just like Av Yasar was the one from Noivir Kohanim who survived, Yaish survived from Beis David. Okay, TB 15. Very hard question, but somehow I got it right. Okay. Weiter. Amar Yehuda Marav, Ilmole Ulishtar Av Yasser. If it wasn't for the fact that Av Yasser remained, out of all the people of Noiv Kahanim, at least he survived, Lachi Melech ben Achitoiv, Ulishtar Mizar Shel David Shard Vapolit. If it wasn't that he was survived, then his wouldn't survive. So he was responsible for Noiv Kohanim dying, getting killed, but since one of them survived, so David's was able to survive. So there, it's all linked. Omer Rabbi Yehuda Marav, Bo'aleihim Sanhedrin HaRasha. Sanhedrin came, Bar Boyim v'Chamish Elef Ish, with 45,000 people, B'nei Malachim, Yoshim B'Koranai Shel Zahav, sitting in golden chariots, V'Imahen Shaglunois. There were princesses, Zionus, Ubesamim, and spices, Ubesamim, Ubishmoinim Elf, Zionus, Ubishmoinim Elf Giburim, and 80,000 strong people, Vushi Syrian Khalifa, who are wearing these chained armor, Ubishishim Elef, another 60,000 Achuzi Chereb with swords, Ratzim Mafon running in front. The Shar Parshim, and the rest were cavalry. The Chain, and so too, Boy al Avraham, so too it was when Avraham was going against massive amount of people. The Chain Asin Level in Goy Gumagoig. Also, by Goy Gumagog, there's going to be a massive army. Mastisatana, Oyrich Machaneu, the length of the camp, Arba Meos Parsi, 400 parsangs. Rachav Tzavar, which is the width of like a line of horses. Susav Arboim Parsi, 40 parsa long. Sach Machaneu Mosayim Veshishim Ribua Alafim Chaser Chad. Interesting language, Chaser Chad. And in the Machne there was 260 10,000 thousands missing one. So what does it mean Chaser Chad? It means there will always be Chaser Achas, a little missing, so we may overtake them. That's the idea. There's at least a Chaser Chad. There is some weakness for us to be victorious. Boy Abaye, so he asked the Kasha, Chaser Chad Ribua or Chaser Chad Alpa? 10,000 or 1,000? Oh, Chaser Meir missing 100, or Chaser Chad, maybe just one missing. Teku. Tana Rishainim of Rubishechi, that the original ones, when they traveled, they had to swim across the river to get from one side to the next. They had to get through a river. V'chalaf Yehuda Shetef, that they went through this. They passed the Avar and they passed through. And so in the second group, Avar B'Koima, they were able to walk across without having to swim, because a lot of the water from the first group, the multitudes of people that went through, took a lot of the water with them on their clothes. Shenemer ad Savr Yagin, to your neck it reached. There was so much water that was taken off because of so many people that the last group, the ground was like earth, like dust. There's no water to drink. They bring water from another place. I dug springs, and that's how I was able to drink. It says that a malch went and hit. 185,000. Yashkimu b'boik, they got up in the morning. Mihini kulam pigar mesim, and they all died. But it's not as many as we just labeled. Amar Abavo halolu Rashi Gaisos Hain. This number where the malach killed, they only killed the Rashi Gaisos, the generals. But the larger number of people represented everyone else. When the pasuk says b'mishmaniyav razayin b'mishmaninim, that the leaders and the fat ones, the isbahu, that are with you. It means that the Malach didn't smite all of the army necessarily, but just the leaders. Amar Ravina dekanamid said Yishal Hashem Malach, that Hashem sent a Malach. V'yichad kol gibor chayil, and destroyed all the strong ones. V'nagid, and the commanders. V'tzar hamachan, and the leaders of the camp. The gomer. V'yava beis Elohav, and they went to their idols, to their avodah zarah. V'yaytzu me'av, and it came from him, Sham hapiluhu b'cherev shmamina. So, again, we see from here that they didn't attack, not all of them were killed, but only the leaders. So, b'ma hika, how exactly did Gabriel attack and kill? How does Malach attack? Rabbi Elazar Omer biyad hikom, with his hand. Shnemar v'yar Yisrael as hayad gedoyla. Hayad she'asid leparim as Sanhedrin, the same hand which in the future will pay back Sanhedrin, so it was in the time of Mitzrayim. Rabbi Yeshua Omer be'etzba hikom, with a finger. Shnemar v'yimar chartumim el paro etzba lokim hi. With a finger. He etzba she'asid leparim as Sanhedrin. Rabbi Elazar ben Oshel, Rabbi Yosef Guli, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Gabriel, Maglecha Nitosha, is your sickle sharpened? Amar Fodo Banish Oilam, Nitusha v'Oimenes Meshishim Me'Bracious. It's been ready all the way beginning from the creation. Shnemer Mnicharbois Nadadu, from the sword it was sharpened. Rabbi Shimon Yoicha Yomer, Oiso HaPerik. At that time, Zman Bishul Perosoya, was a time of ripened fruits. When people go out to get their ripened fruits, that's when you should attack them. Shenemer Midi Avru Yikach Eschem, for the passers-by you shall take from them. And the night will just be terror. Haven Shemua, when the message will be understood. When it says Agav Orchecha, while the pastors go by, Labal Divavecha Ishtama, you should take care of yourself. Neshef, that it was actually through the breathing of his nostrils that that actually the Malach breathed into their nostrils, and that's how they were killed. Shnemar Gam Neshe Behem Yeveshu. Rabbi Yomi Barabo Imer Kapayim Sofak Lahem. He actually clapped his hands. That's how they died. Shnemar Gamani Ake Kapi as El Kapi. Hand to hand, I hit my hands. Vani Chaisi Chamasi, and my anger will be put to rest. Rabbi Yitzchak Nafka Imer As Naim Gil Lahem Vishamu Shiru Mepi Chaya Isumesu. It was actually revealed to them the song of the Malach, of angels, and because of that, it was so powerful they couldn't withstand. That's how they died. Shnemer Roima Mamcha Nifatsu Goyim, but Nishtar Mehem, who didn't the Malach kills? Rabbi Emer Asara. Actually, it was only 10 people they didn't kill. Shenemer Vishar Eitz Ya'aru Mesefer Yu Vinar Yichtavim. It says, and a child will write them down. So Kama Nar Yachal Lichtaiv Asara. A child, what are they able to write? They can only write the number 10, which in Hebrew is the letter Yud, which is the smallest little thing. So 10 survived. Shmuel Ermatish was 9. Shenemer Venishirbo Olelois was remaining among the lone grapes. Kinoi Kef Zayas, like the cutting off of olives. Shnaim Shloisha Gargarim, 2 and 3 clusters Barois at the head. Amir on the top of the tree, Arba Chamisha Besifa, 4 and 5 at the lower branches. So it says 4 and 5, so 4 plus 5 is your 9. Rabbi Shimon Levi, Arba Aser is actually 14. Shnemer Shnaim Shleish V'chulu, Arba Chamisha, 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 is 14. Rabbi Yochanan Omer Chamisha Sancherev. There's actually 5. Who are the 5? Sancherev, Shnei Bonav, his 2 kids, Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babel, and Nevuz Radon. Nevuz Radon Gamra. So that was Gamar. That's tradition that he survived. Nebuchadnezzar Dechsev Verei Derivasa de Melavar Lehin, that the form of a fourth one is comparable to that of an angel. Now, v'ilo dechazia menahavi yada. How did Nebuchadnezzar know this? So look at Rashi. Gabi Chanani Mishal Azariah. that when Nebuchadnezzar threw Hanani, Mishael, and Azariah into the Kishon Eish, to Oroi V'Ra'aya Di Ravoya Demei Lavar Elohin, he saw like this angel-like figure in there. Al B'Dechazi Gavriel V'Hikiru B'Kishon. He already recognized it. This is not the first time he encountered a Malach. So because Nebuchadnezzar saw the Malach in the time of Hanani, Mishael, and Azariah, and now again he sees it again. So that's the how it's alluded to. Nebuchadnezzar actually saw. Sanhedrin Shnei Banav Dechsiv Vehi Hu Mishtachave Beis Nasroich Elohim, that they were bowing down to their idols, their Avodah Zarah. V'Adra Melech V'Sharatzer, those are the names of his two kids. Banav Hikuhu B'Cherev, they were killed with a sword. Amar Rabavo Imoli Mikra Kasev. If it wasn't for this pasuk, Yeshua Amr couldn't say Dechsiv B'Yomahu Yigal Hashem Batar, that Hashem shaved with a razor, Haskira Ba'avri Nahar B'Melech Asher Es Roish, that he hired the people who passed by the river to his head. The Shahar Glayim V'Games Hazakin Tisben, also his beard was destroyed. So also Kuchabrichu the Admile Ki Gavrat Sava, Hashem appeared like an old man. Amalei Ki Azalta Gabi Malchi Mizrach Umariv. When you return from the Malchi, the kings of the east and the west, this Yas Inhu Levanaihu, that they take their children, Vikat Lasinhu, and they had them killed. My Amrlu, what are you going to say? So Amrlu Gavra Hahu Gavra Bahu Pachdanami. I'm in fear of this. Yosef Amalei Hechi David. So he said, what should he do? So Amalei Hashem said, Zil, as we continue sounding Vav V'Shani Nafshecha, and you should disguise yourself. Says Rashi, Kadeshul Yakircha. He'll recognize you. So Mamai Shtani, how should I cheer? What should I look like? Armalei Zil Aisele Masifra V'ig Zayach Ana. And so let me go and let me shave you. Mahecha I see. From where did he go? Malay Oilahu base of the Icy, went to his house and he went. Ozol Ashkachinhu, so he went and found some scissors. Also Malchi Shoras Vidamile Kigibore. So the Malchi Shoras looked like strong people. The Havika Tachni Kashiasa, and they were grinding the palm of kernels. Armalei Havile Mesifra. So he said, give me some. Grind up one of these dates and I'll give it to you. So they ground up this date. So adios until meantime when he came, it got dark. Armoi Hashem said, Zil Aisi Nura, provide light, a fire. Also, Aisi Nura Bahadi Dika Nafachle. He was blowing on the fire. Atulile Nura, and the fire caught onto his beard. Bidakne, onto his beard. Also, Gazla Resha Vidikne. So he went and shaved his head. Also the zakin, also the beard was destroyed. When you shave off, that is a good thing. There was a fire on his beard. And he won't stop. They won't stop laughing. Also, ashkach dapa mitivuta. They found a plank. Denach, that was resting. Amar hainu Eloha Rabba. This is God. The shizma wanach mitufnina. That He's saving you. He saved Noah from a flood. Amar ezelahu gavra umatzlach. If this person comes and saves in war, mikravuhu l'train b'nois kamoch. Then I'll bring my two sons before you. Shamu b'noihi v'katluhu, and they were killed. So basically saying, if I'm the only one that survived, I must be special like Noach. And he brought a carbon afterwards, so I will do the same thing. I'll bring my children. He who mishtach ve'beis nasroch, that he bowed down by the board from the teva, Elohav, v'ad ramelech v'sar atzar banav hikahu b'cherev goimer, and they were hit with a sword, and that's how his two children were killed. Okay, let's see the maybe another question on this. Mi harag, question 10. Mi harag es Sanhedrin. Who killed Sanhedrin? So Banav hirguhu b'cherev. So his children killed him with a sword. Ki shamu, because they heard shamel hav sheim yatzlichenu yakriv lo as Banav. So basically, to make sure I got the story right, so he said that if he's saved, I'm going to kill my kids. So because of that, shamu b'noihi v'akatluhu. They killed him, right? They killed his father, right? So that's how Sanhedrin died. He was actually killed by his very own kids because he overheard that if I'm the only one that survives, I must be special like Noach, and he brought a carbon after, so I'll bring my children. And of course, because of that, they turned around and killed him. Question 15, TA 15, no. Question TB 16, no. Adkan.